Let's begin. This second part will be more not that technical, but more about planning and best practices. This is what you get at first, but it is the planning steps I'm going to give you now. These are some of the things that came to my mind when I was writing this and figuring out how best to give the information. There's definitely more good tips that I can give. The first one is it is important to define the purpose and objective of the website. Is it mission-based or for non-Adventists, or is it for the local church and the members there? What we did with this platform is we separated the Adventist UK website and we made a new one, buc.adventist.uk. So this first one is specifically for non-Adventists. The second one is for Adventists. So we have our ministries here, safeguarding events, more specific for people from the church to find more information, what is going on. The Adventist here, we made it more welcoming to new people that don't really know about Adventist or Christianity in general. So it is important to make your website to know in what directions to go with the website. And this is important, for example, to be careful what words you use in the website. So sometimes we tend to use very Adventist words or phrases that we know what they mean, but a person that is not Adventist and comes into the website and reads that we read something that is a bit strange to them, we have to have that in mind to be more if it is for non-Adventists specifically. So plan the purpose and objective of the website. Is going to be more towards the non-Adventist or towards the church for resources and such stuff. Before you start tinkering with the website, it is important to write out the web pages you want to have. The template has a home. You cannot do it without a home. About page, contact us, news, events, and worship. These are some default pages that we thought would be useful. But it is important to think about what else you're going to add beforehand so that you plan ahead and it's easier in the future. It is important not to have too many pages here that people get confused, and it's important to be structured. It is not shown here, but you can. I'm going to go a bit more technical back again. I'm going to go to my dashboard, and under my church template, where our website will be, we have a few settings. We have appearance, redirects, menu, and settings. I'm going to click on menus. And here we have the different menus we have across the web page. We can add a new one, or we can add the menu here. I think, yeah, menu. And this is this is the page we can touch to change on the side what is shown here in our menu. It has two options, either automatic or manual. The automatic mode shows all of the pages that are here. You add a new page, it's going to be shown in the menu if the setting is set to automatic. We have it on manual as well at the moment because it is more useful in our case. At the bottom, we can add pages, external links to another websites. And yes, that's it. I can click edit. I can choose what is what. So from here, I can choose what I can do. I can move items to be like a child menu items. So I'm going to click update. sorry, come to my template, view online. And as you can see, we have this arrow here. And we have a menu item that is under its parent item menu. Yes. So plan which pages should be parent, which should be child, and try to make them structured so that it is easy for the user quickly to understand where he needs to go. Because sometimes when the website is very difficult to understand where to go, where is the information, users quickly leave the page. Some people they see the page, it's too difficult to understand. They say, I cannot deal with this, and they leave it. So it is important to make it welcoming and well structured, the header menu mostly. Next, it is good to write out a sketch beforehand for each page what you want to have there. It is easier that way because if we start building a page and we start adding blocks and everything, it can get a bit confusing and we get lost in the process. So just a second. Yeah. So it is good to write it out. So first we want to have a header. We want to have some welcoming information. We want to have information about our services, some questions, an image just for some color or information, and then contact information at the bottom. Once you have made that into different sections, written, it is easier after that to implement the page online. Because sometimes when you start doing something, it can be a bit too much information, different modules, different settings, and yet you don't, and to this moment you still don't know what you really want, so it gets very confusing. So yes, it is important to write it out beforehand and make a structure. Something
Question.
very important
Question.
is
Can I ask? You
yes.
mentioned earlier that we need to have an objective for your website, whether it is targeting non-Adventist or targeting Adventist. What if you only have one website which targets everyone?
Well, yeah, in this case, you have to decide, you have to make it somewhat balanced to not be too Adventist. So when you enter the website, you get all the resources that are for Adventists that someone that is not Adventist will be confused to see. And so make it more neutral, let's say. And like I said, be careful with the language, the text to use to be not very Adventist because this is something we have stumbled before, and it can be confusing for new people. Did I answer your question?
Yes, yeah, partly. But what I'm asking about is
Mhm.
so the template that we are going to email BUC to receive, are we going to receive two templates or only
No,
one?
no, just one template, just what you're seeing here. You're going to receive one website. What I showed you before is another situation that we made.
Okay.
But for you specifically, you have one website, one template, and you have to make the best for it for both Adventist and non-Adventist. But
Okay.
what I meant is to have in mind the non-Adventists, because it can be a bit tricky with that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, a good example is when somebody reads the Bible, they say, "If you drink my blood," that's what the Bible says. Drink my
Mm,
blood, you have life. Someone who's non-Adventist might actually find that is cannibalism. Yeah, I understand.
exactly, exactly. Me specifically, I'm a very technical person. I don't think about this stuff a lot. So if some of you are more technical, you can ask your pastor or elder or someone else that has more can help you out more in this case. That ask someone else if you don't see the language, you don't understand what I mean.
Can I jump in as well, just at this point,
Yes,
with
David.
sort of related questions? So what I do on our website, I mean, I take a point, and it's something we should all consider about, how it appears to non-Adventists. But each website should serve both purposes. It has to be our public face, as I call it, and then we can use it for internal communications as well. So the way I achieve that is I'm encouraging our members to create an account, and then once they sign in, once they authenticate, a menu becomes accessible with additional content that the rest of the world can't see.
Unfortunately, we don't have registration for this.
Really,
Yes, yes. I think you mentioned this in the previous training.
I did, yeah.
I did not understand what you meant. Yeah, you don't have that. So it is the same for everyone.
Okay,
Okay.
and that's a massive step backwards for us then. Yeah, okay, thank you.
Mhm. Yeah, there are some stuff that unfortunately are not present here from the Net Adventist, but there are some stuff that are better. So we have to compromise in this case. Okay, something I mentioned in the previous training, I'm going to mention it again. About the images. When uploading images, it is important to not put images that have all the text, the information, the dates on them, and just put everything on the image. It's good to put the image and then some text underneath, make the image more visual to grasp an idea of what this page is about, for example. And it is very important to use royalty-free images. I'm going to link again some of the websites that, where is the chat? Sorry. In the chat, I'm going to link them again. It's good to use images that are yours and images that are from royalty-free websites. Some of the images there are paid, but there are a lot of free ones. Because if you used someone else's image, someone that is property of someone else, it's copyrighted, there can be legal action afterwards, and it's not good, obviously. So please use free images. Some Joe can answer here. There was a question in the previous training, and got me curious. If you put on your website images of people in your church, are you allowed to put such images?
That's a great question. We have within our churches a safeguarding policy that was most recently updated just a few weeks ago. Included in that outlines when we have to take measures to take photos and videos of people within our walls, as well as people on church activities outside of our walls. For example, you had a church camporee. You know, it's not within your four walls, it's somewhere else, but it's one of your church's activities. So when you are taking photos of members who isn't considered a vulnerable person or a minor, there has to be reasonable effort that you've made to inform people that you're taking photos and videos of them, as well as information as to how that will be used. So the most obvious example might be is you, on a Sabbath morning before divine service starts, you make the announcement that we're live streaming the service to YouTube. If you don't want to be in any footage, make sure that you sit in this allocated part of the building, of the sanctuary, and you won't be included in any of the shots that may be included in the live stream. If you are, another good practice is you put signs up around your building, you know, as you walk into the foyer, for example, you walk into the sanctuary. If you are taking pictures of vulnerable adults or minors, you have to get their consent. If you go to the safeguarding departmental webpage on the NEC website, there's a template form that you can use when getting their permissions in order to take photos and use them for whatever you may be using them for. And you want to explain to them how you might be using it, for example, on the church website or social media or something of that nature. Now, that's a simplified answer. It probably doesn't cover every scenario, but I don't want to take up too much time. But I hope that answers the question for the person who asked it. But feel free to come back to me if you've got anything more specific you want to hone in on.
Thank you very much, Joe. Okay, this was for the images. Let's continue with something I mentioned in the previous training, but it is important. Let's come here. When adding an image, to add alternative text. This is very good. This is very important for Google to help it see you. And also if the image for some reason breaks and it's not shown, a text will be shown and that text will be this alternative text. So if there is a problem with the website and someone enters, this text might make it better for them in that case. The next point I have here is to ensure that the page is responsive. I showed you in the previous training about responsiveness. I'm going to show everyone here as well. On the top here, we have different devices, from mobile to desktop. It is very important when you make your website to have in mind that to have in mind each device. How I usually work in this and make one of these websites, I make everything on desktop. I make it how I want it, I want it to look, and then I start going back to the other devices. I see how it looks there. A good tool I use to look at that when I am on my website, when I click on the right button. In each browser, it's a bit different, but there should be a option inspect element. When I click that, this on the site comes up, a lot of stuff comes up. That for most of you, this will be a lot. What we'll need on the top, there is a similar icon as in the website with some devices. When I click on it, here in the dimensions, I have a list of different devices. So if I don't have access to for example, like a tablet, we have iPad here, iPad Air. So this is how it would look on iPad Air. If I want to look at let's say an iPhone, because I don't have an iPhone, I have an Android. I can look at it as an Android, and I can interact from here. It is very useful, and I use it a lot when making websites. Of course, the best thing to do is to have a device on hand and test it on the device, because sometimes these tools here on the browser are don't have all the settings. So please test your websites. Which leads me to the next point. It is very important before publishing a page, before doing any publishing, to make a lot of tests. Many times when I make a website, I make some tests, I see everything is okay, I publish it. Next thing, someone calls me, someone messages me, the website is not working, this is broken, that is broken. So from all those experience, what I started to do is when I make a website, I send a few people a link and I wait for their response. I ask them, can you check this on your phone, on your laptop, on your tablet, and to see if there are any problems with the web page. So it is important. I'm sure all of you will do some tests before any publication, but many times we ourselves make mistakes. Send it to other people to check it out before publishing. A lot of tests should be done. And even after you publish a page and you make changes, send it to someone else and say, can you see this? Something important that I missed on the previous training, very important. On the link here, I'm going to copy it. This is the page we are looking at. I'm going to remove this. I'm going to come here now to going to add a rich text, for example. Make it bigger. This is our link for the homepage we have now. As you can see, there is some code afterwards, some random words. Usually your page should look like this.
We can't hear you, Christian.
Sorry. Thank you very much. So usually the link should be only up to here, so up to home. But when you click view online from the system here,
You've dropped again. The mic's dropped again. Can't hear you. Sorry.
yeah, can you hear me now?
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. This link gives you this this button here, view online, gives you this link here here. Now, what is this additional code? Very important. This code ensures that I'm going to show you in practice. Let me enter this page here. So we enter the page without the code. I'm going to come here to the title, change the title. Nice to have you here today. I'm going to click save. And if I refresh the page without this code, it's not going to show me any changes. So what this button does, it gives you a link with a code that has all the new information. So the website has some cookies that are cleared after maybe 5, 10, I'm not sure how much, 5, 10, 15 minutes. And until then, you're not going to see changes if you refresh the standard link. So changes are, when you make changes, they're not on the moment. There's like 10, 15 minutes until a change comes. And that is for most of the blocks here. Maybe there's some exception, but for most stuff you change, you need to wait until changes show. If you want to show someone the change right away, you need to send him the latest link generated by this button. Yeah. Let me remove this. Yeah, so this gives you some buffer. If you make a mistake, you have 10, 15 minutes until the public can see it. Yes, it is very important to collaborate with the pastoral team, the elders, and the leaders of the church, the board members as well of the church, about everything. Because what I mean is, many times the team, the communications teams, the team that works with the websites and all this stuff, they work on their own and they don't communicate with the church. So on the website, you don't see a lot of current events, current information, because there is no communication between the church departments and the communications team. It is very important to communicate, because me as a professional, when I go to a website and I see, when I look at it, I can tell you if this website has information that's been changed in the past few months, or it's a static website that's from 3 years ago and no one has touched it. And I'm sure there are other people that when they go and they see, for example, the last event made is 3 years ago, it's not good. It's good to be active, and to be active, you have to have a good communications with your church. And also feedback from them is always good to search for feedback.
What's the events control like on this new system? So on the Adventist, you had like a calendar, you could put things in. There's also integration with Google Calendar as well, which is quite neat. So you could have somebody schedule something on a Google account and it would automatically feed through.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So what we have used for the Google Calendar, it's not integrated with the system. What we have done is we have embedded it, HTML embed from the calendar. We use it for some of the websites now. But what the system has is this. This is the block for events. We have for January the events. When we click info, we have the image, some information, and when we click more info here down, this is a standard event. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you later when I finish with the best practices how it works. That was something from the previous training, but we didn't have time. Oh, I'm going to show you. What else? Keep menus short and intuitive. So specifically for this template, when the menu is on the side, you can have more than usual here. And on the start.nec website, they made it with a lot of drop downs. At first, everything was on the top and it did not look good because it started to get squished on 2 rows. So don't add too much information, too long words. Make it more simple. News, events, worship. Try to describe the page more simple, not with 3 or 4 words, for example. Before publishing any changes, ensure that all links work, all buttons work, all cards work. Click through everything and make sure everything works, because sometimes we forget. We're going to put a link on this button, this and that, and then we forget and we have non-functional blocks on the website, which is not good. Keep content fresh by updating events, news, and other time-sensitive pages regularly. Of course, this is very important. We talked about this. Communications with the church, and sometimes the church is not giving a lot of information, but tell them it's important because this is a very important link to the people that are seeking. So yeah. Those are mainly the best practices and the planning of your website. I'm sure many of you knew most of this stuff because you have worked with the websites before, but just a reminder, and for some it's new. I'm going to show you about the events now. So on the side here, where web was, we have events. When we click on events, we have four tabs. The first one is the events, where we add the different events. These are all the NEC events that have been added for the next few months. We have organizers. There are a lot of organizers added here. An organizer is when you add one organizer is just the title for it. So in the event, let's go to the event organizer. Organized by safeguarding. So in this case, it shows which department, for example, organizes the event. Regions. This is not being used. You can test it out on your own, but in this case, it's not being used. Categories, we have different categories for local church events, in-person, hybrid, online, or location. These are the categories that the NEC has decided to implement. And when making an event, how do we make it? There is an Add Event button at the top here under Events. And there are many settings that are not very difficult to understand. There is a lot of description underneath. You have titles, the slug that is automatically written as well. You say when it starts on, when it ends on. You can set a specific time. So you can set a specific time. If it's online registration, at the moment it doesn't work. It's the Hope Channel Media that made the platform, have some third-party integrations, but we cannot integrate it at the moment. And we have some other options. We can choose the organizer from here. So let's say safeguarding. We have safeguarding. We can choose a category, specific description, body. We can add an image for the event, location, theme, image caption, and location map. Once we click create. It's going to save, make the event, and a lot more information is going to show. Let's see, for example, Church Officers Training Part 2. We have audience now, so we can set for which type of audience it is. Young people, for example. It's between maximum participants 50. And other options. We have advanced. We have a deadline, early booking deadline. We can add accommodations, options, meals, workshops, additional fields, and more options. Some of these options require give a price to show as well, which is useful. Under general, we have more information again.
Oh, your mic's gone again, Christian. Yeah.
Thank you very
Just on, yeah.
Yep. So, yes.
And again. Yeah, we lost you again.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Re-
And again. Mhm. You came back for a moment.
Yeah, now good.
Yep, back again. Yeah.
Hopefully it stays on. That's very unfortunate. Okay, under organizers here, we can add email, website, phone number, so additional information for the organizers. If we have bank,
You've gone again, I'm afraid, Christian. Yeah.
oh, very sorry. Yeah. Yeah, this is how the events work, basically. There is a lot of information you can add for the events. And yes, that's it. This is mainly all the information I can give you about the best practices and the planning of your website. If you have any questions, technical questions, or any other questions about the website, now is the time to ask. I'm going to paste the link again. Someone asked something. Yes, how do we access this platform? So to access this platform after the training, you need to request access from this email address over here. And there was some more links. And on this link, BUC Adventist UK training, you can find most everything I have said in the first training, all the technical stuff, and some examples. I'll show you an example. This is how it looks, the page. It's very simple. When I click on add a title, how to add a title, we have a video of me showing how to add a title. It's very simple. The last one, building different templates, is rather new. It's new from 2 weeks ago, I believe. It is a longer one. I think I'm going to cut it up into smaller ones. Here, I'm showing you how to make different templates. For example, how to make a header. Let's see, contact form.
Oh, we
Yeah,
can't hear you.
you've gone again.
If you have any questions, you can ask them. If not, I can go through the templates and show you more. For example, something I'm going to show you is something very useful. Let's see, where was it? Okay. We use, this is the other type of cards that we use. So we had the default type. Let me go to my website again. Web. Okay, appearance, training demos, different blocks. Okay, we're going to add a section again. For those who were not in the previous training, this is how it looks on the back side of the website, where you're going to move blocks, different blocks, add items. Yes. So inside this section, I'm going to add a container. Inside this container, I'm going to add a grid item block. Inside this grid, I'm going to add. It is, yes, someone asked, it is a CMS system. It's a custom CMS system. Yes, like WordPress Webflow, but it is custom made on specifically for the Adventist conferences and churches. About the someone asked what are the limitations on pages and SEO. So specifically for SEO, search engine optimizations, this is search engine optimizations settings are specifically for how Google sees you and how to make it better, how to make your page better for Google. I'm going to show you now about this one specifically. Under different blocks here, the page I have selected. On the side, there are three dots. When I click them, I have these settings. I can duplicate the page. I can add a
You've gone again.
Thank you. Under page settings, I clicked here. I can click, I can change the title. I can add some description. I can add icon and image. I'm not very sure what these are for. We cannot use the icon and image. Hide in menus. If I click this one, this is very important. It is not going to show in any menus. So if you want to make sure that this page is not shown anywhere, and you want to make it like a development page where you work and you don't want anyone to see it, if you click hide in menus, no one is going to see it. There are some other options here. You can look on your own. Under SEO, we have some settings. The first, we can add keywords, canonical URL. We can click no index. That means that Google can never find this page. It cannot find it because Google is always searching all the web pages. Everything is searching to find it. So if you click this, Google is not going to find it. Under Open Graph, this is more settings we can look for SEO. This title here and this description here is what's going to show in the Google search. For example, Adventist UK, if I type. This title here, for your page specifically, you can change it from here. This description here can be changed from here. And this settings is for each individual page. This is very important because if someone searches for Adventist church near me and Google shows you your church because you're close, from here you can change the settings, what they see. I hope I answered the question today. This is the settings they can change. You can add an image as well. And if it's an article, video, or website, you can change it. But this is SEO settings that can be changed. Yeah. From here we have other settings. I am not sure which of these settings you have access to because certain settings are closed for certain people. I'm going to go back to different blocks and continue with what I did is gone because I did not save my page. I'm going to add it again. I'm going to add a section, add a container. Inside this container, I'm going to add grid. The grid I want to have only 2 columns from tablet forward. And inside, I'm going to layout. I'm going to add cards, components, cards. I'm going to add 1 card. I'm going to click save. There's a question. To the question if it's going to be split to Germany and General Conference developing, no, it's not going to be split. From what I know is the General Conference is going to continue all the development and Hope Channel Media is just continuing development for a certain period of time for the websites that they have worked with up until now. BUC is BUC, the British Union Conference is one of the first conferences that has worked with Hope Channel, so we're still working with them. But in the future, it's going to be only Hope, the General Conference. Yeah. So we have added a card. I'm going to select image in background this time. I'm going to select an image. I'm going to select from my computer an image. Let's see. Some other image I'm going to use. Let's say this image. I'm going to add a title. We have kicker and subtitle as well. We have description. For description, I'm going to, what is the template usually? Okay. We have some description here. Call to action, let's say, see more. Although, if we have selected the variant image in background, it is always going to be this kind of button with the arrow. The text is not going to show. We need some abc.com, for example, some URL. Click save and view online. Let's see what we have made. We have made this thing, which is not like this. How can we change this? First and foremost, I'm going to go to I'm going to add from layout a box. I'm going to add a box here and put the card inside the box. And on this box, I'm going to add some padding. So I'm going to go to mobile, click medium. As you can see, it changed a bit. For tablet, I'm going to put it to large. Actually, I'm not sure this will do anything. I'm sorry. The card itself has padding. So we have to change on the padding, not on the box. Medium, large, and click save and view online. Let's see. Did not change anything. Okay, changed. So now we have some space and it looks better. Now, Now, how do we make it to be this large and from side to side? If we want to, if we don't want it to be here, the SEC have made it small cards like this on the front page, here, here, and here. But if we want to make them like the NEC at the bottom, we need to put this grid only in the section, not in the container. We'll click Save, View Online, and now it's from side to side. Yes, that's how you make these cards. I'm going to click Copy of this card and paste it next to it. And it's on the side. There is some space between now. This can be changed. The grid has a gap. I need to remove this gap from tablet mode and from mobile. When I click Save, View Online, this gap is removed. And I can move this section to the bottom of the page. Now I cannot see the bottom. What I can do is this section, I can close it for the moment, close this section, this, and this. And now I can move it at the bottom. So it's like a second footer with some information. In the NEC website and other website, we have used it for the church finder, and the NEC has used it for the 7Me app specifically. If you have any more questions, you can ask them. Hopefully, I have helped you in any way. And again, if you can always look at the trainings, and this recording will be shown as well. In the training, it's more in depth. The one we have already made, it's more in depth, and there are no questions that are asked. It's specifically for the specific modules and how to use them. So you can always use them. And again, if you want to request access after the training, you need to request it to this email I have put in the chat.